Hey guys, how's it going? It's Zed from me, and in today's video we're going to be installing a hitch onto the Tesla Model Y. Alright, so I got my hitch from Draw-Tite. It was the cheapest option that I could find. I don't want to use this vehicle for towing, but I do want to be able to put a bike rack on the back or a cargo rack. So I went with the cheapest option that I could find. All the other options, including the OEM option, way more expensive. So if you're interested, I got mine from eTrailer.com. I'm not paid to endorse them in any way, and the brand that makes this particular hitch is Draw-Tite. This here is rated to hold or tow 3,500 pounds. It's a class 3 hitch, so it'll definitely be more than enough for my purposes. There are a ton of videos online on how to install these hitches. They're all basically the same. There's a lot of plastic pieces to come off, as well as a lot of clips, and the taillights have to come off as well. So I'm gonna get started. So the first thing that I did was take out this trim piece right here. It just literally lifts straight up, and there's a couple of clips on the bottom that hold it in. One here, one here, one here, and one here. And they clip onto here, 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 and here. First thing that I'm going to do now is take off the tail light piece on either side. Alright, so these taillights were definitely not easy to remove. There's two metal clips which hold the taillight into place apart from your 8mm bolts, which are here and here. There's a metal clip here, and it basically sits into these plastic pieces here. The important thing to note is that if you look right here at the corner of the taillight, it is all plastic, so if you just like pry it out, this is gonna break. So just be careful about that. Getting this trim panel back was just pulling really strong, and getting these little 8mm nuts definitely took a little bit of time. What I found helpful was to push the taillight in so that the bolts were not as tight. I was able to remove them with the 8mm as well as this little extension piece so that I could get some leverage. I'll do the same thing on the other side now, and then we'll move on to the actual bumper. Alright, now so I have both tail lights removed. This side was, in my opinion, a little bit easier because the panel, once you pull it out, you actually get a little bit more room. Then we have to remove these T25 bolts on both sides, one here and one here. And then I think we really do get to actually removing the bumper at this point. There are a number of clips underneath to remove. So let's see if I could show you all the way around. Here, 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 all the way around to the other side as well. Some of these are 10mm, and some of these are just like those regular clips that come out with the flathead screwdriver. So let's get those out. So in order to pry this back, you just gotta get a pry tool behind it, and these are just regular Christmas tree clips, so they pull straight back. There's nothing holding this plastic piece there. So in order to remove the plastic bumper, you need to take off this 8mm over here. And I believe that is it for the sides of the bumper. Alright, so the bumper is off, and I just have to remove this clip here for the parking sensors, as well as the, well, probably just the parking sensors. Okay, so now that it's off, you can see that these 3 points, one here, and one here, these 3 points were the part that holds the crash bar in. Okay, so I just learned that with the Draw-Tite hitch, the hitch actually just replaces the crash bar, which I'm not so sure how I feel about that, but essentially all the other hitches, they sandwich between the adapter and the crash bar. But as you can see here, there is absolutely no way that you can install this crash bar with the hitch. So essentially, I guess at this point, I'm just going to replace this entire piece with this right here, and that'll be it. Whether or not this affects the safety of the vehicle, I am not an expert enough to tell you, but this is aluminum and is softer than this, which is steel. And what I do know is that you do want some ability for this to give, because you want this to absorb the impact. So just because this here I know is stronger than this doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. Honestly, I don't really know. So that's something to consider if you're considering between the different brands. I know I said this is the cheapest one, and I guess it's cheap maybe for a reason. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm just going to install this onto the vehicle and tighten everything back up. So something that I'm just noticing after installing this here is, in the event of a rear impact, the farthest back part of the vehicle after the bumper is actually this piece right here, and no longer the crash bar, which actually does extend out a little bit. And so honestly, I don't know if I can recommend this this hitch. It does the job, but in the rare event where your crash bar would take the impact without this part taking the impact, I can't imagine it'll be an easy fight with insurance to have it covered. Although obviously if you're gonna get hit in the back that hard and the crash bar is gonna take a big hit, I imagine that part would already be messed up anyway. But I could just see in some very rare situation where that might be a problem. And now I will finish off the install by just torquing down those bolts, as well as reinstalling the rear bumper. Alright, so it's all done. Now I have my hitch, if I need it, for bike racks, cargo racks. I guess I could tow for it, but if I do that, I'd probably want to put in the wiring harness as well, just to do it legally. But overall, the install took about 2 hours or so. Really wasn't that difficult. A lot of clips, a lot of fasteners. And overall the process went pretty smoothly. Like I said, in regards to the crash bar, it is removed from the car now, which can be an issue. What do you think about that? On top of everything that I've said already, another thing to consider I just noticed this as I brought the crash bar back in. This is where the rear toe hook actually, attaches. So with the new one, I'm pretty sure this is not there. So essentially there is no way to tow something from the rear through that strap or through this original OEM spot. Another thing to consider, I honestly at this point can't really recommend it. I would probably pay a little bit more for the EcoHitch or go ahead with the OEM option. Alright guys, so that basically completes our install for the Draw-Tite Hitch. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. I'm Zeb for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.